Hello and welcome to the Christmas episode of the podcast. Today I'm joined with Caleb once again.
Hey Chris, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Well, technically it's Christmas Eve when we're recording this, but
Yes.
Merry Christmas. So today we have a good lineup of Christmas activities for us to enjoy while we celebrate this monumental holiday. You can probably tell that we have more energy than we did last podcast, and that's because we were recording at 11 o'clock that day. But now we're wide awake. It's noon right now, so...
Yeah. This is gonna go out around later, but we're just recording now. That way we're a little bit more enthusiastic in our videos.
Yeah. Quick shout out to my sister for giving us a list of our list of ideas for today's podcast. It's not really a shout out, but just props to her. Thank you. But yeah, so let's just get right into it. How about that?
All right. So what's our first topic?
What do you think is the best Christmas movie?
Best Christmas movie? I would have to go with A Christmas Carol.
Really? Why?
Well, I mean, it's a classic, and also gives you the true meaning of Christmas because it starts.
You're such a sweetie, Caleb.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Mine's Home Alone, man.
That's a good one.
That's also, well, it's not really a classic, but it's a good one. It's a good for a good chuckle.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty old movie. I mean, the kid of that movie is what? He's older now.
Yeah, he's pretty old. Well, yeah. So why is it? So yeah, mine's my favorite just because it makes me laugh almost every time I watch it.
Almost every time.
Yeah,
or is it almost every time?
Sometimes, I don't know. Depends on the mood I'm in when I watch it. I watched it last night, actually.
I don't like the new one, though. The
newer ones. Yeah, the first two were the best.
Yeah. It's just that they have different kids.
Yeah, the main kid was Kevin McAllister is the best.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is your favorite song? Describe it.
Well, I like All I Want for Christmas Is You, because
I like that song.
I mean, it's catchy.
I don't know what mine is.
Do you know any names of any songs?
It's not that I know the names of them. I just know what I like. I like the one by I don't know. I don't think it's Michael Bublé. It might be Michael Bublé. It's the one that goes, "It's beginning to look, come on."
Oh.
You know that one?
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. I also like Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell.
That one's. I wasn't really a big fan of Jingle Bell Rock.
That's the one you listen to in school all the time.
Yeah.
We
should watch a Christmas movie on Friday. I didn't understand
why.
Miss
L's class.
Oh yeah, well yeah we did, but
I shouldn't be giving out names. I'm sorry. I don't know.
We're gonna edit that out.
I don't know how to edit, so.
Oh well, we're screwed.
Miss S's class.
Yeah, Mrs. S class. Yeah.
Alright. What do you think is gonna happen tomorrow? Do you think we're gonna have a white Christmas or a green Christmas?
Well, I mean, if you didn't already tell, I can see outside of my window that it is snowing.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know how many inches or feet we're supposed to get, but
I mean, there's a little layer outside if I look out. My prediction is I don't think it's gonna be, a lot of snow, but I feel like we'll have a nice little blanket covering the grass. So I think, I don't know, it's a tough decision. What do you think? Final answer.
Well, I think we'll have a white Christmas, but I don't think it's all gonna be necessarily white. I think we'll have a couple patches with I think we'll have a couple places where there isn't gonna be any snow.
Yeah, probably.
We've actually had really nice weather the past few days.
Yeah. There was that. I don't remember what day it was. Might have been Thursday. That it was like 45 out, and it was 45 on the winter solstice, which is supposed to be the coldest and shortest day of the year. It was 45.
That's not bad.
That's weird. We live in New England, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
But that's pretty good weather. I mean, I heard that Florida's been getting a little bit chillier.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would expect.
It's gotten like, it's dropped though. Like usually it's like in the 60s in Florida.
Yeah, I guess so. I think. I'm gonna actually check my weather on my app on my phone because this is never right. The weather app.
Well, what region do you have it on?
Where?
That's weird.
It says tomorrow's gonna be completely sunny.
In that case, we might not. The snow might melt, like depending on how warm it is. Or like it might like.
It says tomorrow up to 11 a.m. It'll probably be sunny. So that's not too promising, but either way, I wouldn't mind if it's like a completely sunny day out, like bright blue sky. I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add in a question here. Do you go to like mass on Christmas?
Well, a couple years ago, I used to go to Florida. And we don't do that anymore.
Oh.
Mainly because we can't really afford it. Or like we can, but like we don't really want to spend the money on it.
I guess. Yeah. It's reasonable.
Yeah. Well, do you go anywhere out of?
I asked if you go to mass.
Oh.
Like church on Christmas.
Oh, I didn't know what you were saying.
Do you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You lagged out a second.
Do you?
No, I don't.
You don't. All right. That's all I wanted, Caleb.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I couldn't hear you.
What do our families do for the holidays? Like, what do you do? What's your routine on Christmas that you did like last year or something?
Well, my parents usually wait to open up presents until a little bit late. So we have this big breakfast, and then we open up presents. Like, we're usually not allowed to open up presents until my parents have had their coffee.
Do you have like a certain food for Christmas? Is it like, because our family has cinnamon rolls. That's what we have for breakfast.
Well, our family makes this weird casserole, like egg and cheese and bacon. It's good. I mean,
it's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what do you do after that?
We just open up gifts. It's funny. We go by youngest to oldest, so I'm always the last child to open up their present.
Oh, that seems sad. You just gotta wait for everybody else to open. Yeah, so we usually just take turns, like me and my sister. So the way we do it is we're getting up later and later because, you know, we're older and we don't feel like getting up at like 2 a.m. like we used
Yeah, my parents usually want us to like sleep in.
Yeah. So we usually get up at like, my parents don't let us open presents until like 7 a.m. until we force them to get up, basically. And we get up and we open present. Yeah, so we get up. I literally have an alarm set for 6 a.m. and usually what I do is I head out and I look at, because my parents do it, you know, the night of. So
Yeah.
I go and look at what's in my stocking, like, because my parents will let us do that. They'll let us look in our stockings, and then I usually head downstairs and I turn on like a Charlie Brown Christmas or something. My sister probably isn't gonna get up early. She probably will sleep in, but my sister will probably sleep in, but I will get up early no matter what, because it's, it's Christmas. I gotta get up early. And
Well, I mean, I usually help out like with setting up the presents. Like so, like I can tell by like the shape and the size like of what like, I'm getting.
I think, yeah, that would be a good way to tell, I guess. Yeah, so we get up and we at 7 a.m. we take turns opening our presents, and then after that we'll usually head to mass, but we're actually going to the midnight mass, so we're not gonna go to mass. We'll probably head down to my grandma's, and she always buys us a few presents, and we open it at her house. And so then our aunts and uncles will arrive, and then by this time it's like 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
And so we just sit around and play with our new things and stuff. We look at our new stuff, and then our aunts and uncles arrive. Not like because we have a family Christmas on the 29th, and so we usually go to that after, which is my my aunt and uncle work at a college. I'm not gonna say which college, and we usually get to go there and have Christmas there. We rent out or we don't really rent out, but we use the whole building. Like, we have it all to ourselves. So it's crazy. We get to walk around.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Do you usually have a big dinner there?
Yeah, on Christmas Day, we have, that's when, after, my grandparents arrive and stuff, it'll be, 11 o'clock, and then we'll start preparing for the meal.
See, we have Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve night, and then we have another big dinner on Christmas Eve. So we have 2 turkeys inside of we have one big ham, and then we have the turkey for tomorrow. And then we usually watch a Christmas movie, and then go to bed.
Yeah. So, and then do you have any other Christmas? Do you have an aunt and uncle Christmas like I do? Or do you just
the whole family comes over our house.
Oh, you just have it all on Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, so that seems like fun. Well, what's one gift that you hope to get?
Me, I'm hoping to get a new headset, because, the people in the comments are telling me I need a new mic.
Well, you just got a new mic, and that sounds good. I think it's just you need better connection.
Yeah. Maybe I should get an Ethernet cable for my laptop.
But you're sounding a lot better today. You haven't disconnected too much, or at least from what I can hear. So I think you're taking big strides, Caleb. This podcast is gonna be great.
Yeah. There's no echo though, right?
No, you're fine. You probably sound as good as me, for echo wise.
Yeah. I'm just hoping there's no background noise, because my parents are cleaning at the moment.
No, I don't hear anything. Yeah, so what's that one anything else you hope to get? What'd you ask for?
I kind of just asked for new clothes and an iPhone.
You asked for clothes?
Yeah, because,
That's crazy.
Well, I'm growing out of my clothes, so I could really use some new clothes.
Yeah, I get you. I was just messing.
What are you getting for Christmas, or what do you hope to get for Christmas?
What do I hope to get? So, I'm hoping to get a new monitor, because the one I have right now is a hand-me-down. So, an actual gaming monitor, so I can, play games, and it looks nice. I also hope to get a chair, because the one I'm sitting in right now is literally just this wooden chair with I don't even know what this is. For a cushion. It's not even a cushion, really.
I'm sitting on this cold metal one.
It's probably better than what I have. And there's no back support. There's literally just this one wooden rod that pokes into my back. I don't like this at all. But, yeah, those are just the main things I hope to get. And I also asked, which I don't think I'm gonna get this, because that would be a lot of money. But,
yeah.
Some wireless Bluetooth headphones. I didn't ask for Beats, because those are super expensive. And they're not worth it.
Wireless headphones are pretty expensive too, though.
Yeah, but there's some really good ones you can get for like $100. Yeah, those are the gifts I was hoping getting. So, do you have any like traditions that you do? Like something that you have to do every year?
Well, other than eat a big feast and open presents, no, I really don't, to be honest.
We don't really either. So the next thing we were gonna do is open an early gift, but your parent wouldn't let you, and mine would only let me open up clothes. So we thought that wouldn't be too interesting. What about? Oh, so I can tell everyone the story about the Boston University players that I met.
Yes.
So, when I went down to Florida a few months ago, in October, we were playing golf, me and my dad, and let me mind you, this is the first time we went to Florida in 3 years, so this is so lucky. We meet this guy, and I'm not going to say his name for privacy reasons, and he says he plays lacrosse at BU, and so we thought, oh, that's crazy, you know. He's like, yeah, it's such a small world, really. And so we were talking to him, and I asked him how college was. And so he's talking to us, and we thought it was really nice, so we said bye to him, and you know, we just went on our way. So yesterday, I went to a Patriots game, and this guy in front of us is wearing a BU hockey hat. So my dad asks him about it, and he's like, yeah, I play for BU hockey. And my dad thinks of this other guy, and he's like, hey, by any chance, do you happen to know, blah, 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 this kid, the kid that we met in Florida? He's like, yeah, he's my roommate, and our minds were blown. Or he said he was his roommate back in freshman year. He said he was like a junior in college. So he said he was and he lives in the room next door to him now. And so it's like, yeah, he's one of my really good friends. And we thought it was so crazy, so we were telling him all about it. We're all freaking out in the stands that we met this guy and one of his friends on two separate, like, this wasn't just like we were in BU. This is like we were at crazy places and we met him.
That's crazy. You know, Chris, this is a really small world. You know, you're gonna find a whole bunch of people that you recognize, and some people, you know.
Yeah, I just thought that was absolutely insane. Also, since we knew this guy, since we were talking to this guy, he took a picture with us, and he said that he, like, if we ever wanted to come to a game or two, he'd give us free tickets. Since he played on the team. So I thought that was really crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you want to do? What's your favorite Christmas food?
I'd have to go with the ham. You know.
Like, I'm
For
oh wait. Why is it ham?
Well, it's for many reasons. You know. Well, I was always such a big fan of ham. Like yeah. Like, I eat it for my lunch meat, and we eat it for a whole bunch of occasions. We had it for Thanksgiving along with the turkey. I just love ham.
Any drinks like eggnog, hot chocolate, something like that?
I was a big fan of eggnog when I was younger. Now I'm not a very big fan of it anymore for some reason.
Same with me. I used to love eggnog with my whole heart, and now it's just kind of become something that's like, I'll have
I still love hot chocolate though. Like, hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate is the bomb. It's the bomb.com. For me, my favorite food is gotta be, and this is gonna sound really self-centered, but corn if I cook it. So, like, back in 6th grade, we did this Thanksgiving feast project, and so our teacher was cooking corn in this really weird way, and so he cooks it with, like, tin foil on the top with, like, a little gap on the side. And so I thought this was really weird. And so when I got home, but when we tried it, the corn was amazing. Like, it was so good. And so from now on, I cook it like that. And whenever I ask my parent, like I tell my parents, I'm like, okay, I showed them how to do it, and they're like, okay, I'll cook it like that next time. Every time they don't cook it like that, and it tastes so much better. I don't know how it works, but it tastes so much better.
So you don't like corn unless you make
No,
it.
I like corn, but it's my favorite when I cook it like that, or when it is cooked like that, I should say.
I've never actually had corn on a feast before. Like not even for a Thanksgiving feast. Our family's just not big corn eaters.
Yeah. You got anything else saying Christmas stories?
No, not really. I mean, this one time a tree fell on me with all the ornaments on it.
Why?
'Cause my brother fell on it. And I was standing right under it, putting stuff underneath it.
Well, were you okay?
Yeah, I was okay. It just hurt for a little while.
Well, that is just a kooky story, Caleb.
Thank you, Chris.
I got one, but it's not really a story, more like just something funny that happened. So we were decorating the trees, and so we had all like the tubes of ornaments. Like we had these big ornaments that came in these tubes, and so my cat decides to push the tube against a wall and starts climbing into the tube. Mind you, this tube is like half the size of my cat, but he somehow fits in, and so my cat's just sitting in this tube. I wish I had the picture. We did take a picture, but I can't find it. And so my cat's just sitting in this tube, and he can't get out. Like, he was fine because there was a hole on each side, so he could breathe and everything. But it was funny because he would flop all over the ground. He had the tube on his like, so it was covering a good portion of him down to like his hips. So his bottom half was still sticking out, and he was just flopping around on the ground. He was just, it was really funny. But then eventually, we helped him out. And
Yeah,
that never happened again, but it was really funny.
well, that is also a very kooky story, Chris.
Yeah. Anything else for you?
Well, we could talk about the CS:GO case opening scams.
Yeah, we could. Do you want to talk about that?
All right.
It's not very
Well,
Christmassy, but something at least to talk about.
yeah. So for any of you CS:GO players out there, I would suggest that you just buy cases off of the CS:GO store. Don't buy off of any store like that isn't on like the CS:GO like main store.
Yeah.
So like this goes for Drake Moon, Skins Hub, and I believe there was one more. I just don't remember off the top.
Skip Tub, we actually went on yesterday, and we discovered how much of a scam it was. So I'll tell you about that. Or do you want to talk about that?
You can talk about it.
No, you talk about it.
All right. Well, I was gonna start out with Drake Moon, but Skins Hub. For Skins Hub, basically you have to deposit more money for a spin, and then gain absolutely no profit from it. Like you could how do I put this in good terms? Like you could spin at least, like I saw Chris, he test spinned like 10 times a 10 wheel.
Yeah, so I spun 10 at once for a $6 case, so I was spending $60 each time.
And he gained no profit from it. He gained some of the worst skins you could possibly get on
They
on
were
a
good
case opening.
skins, but I had to spin 12 times for a $60 case. That's $720. And I got it was on the 12th spin that I got 2 knives off of it. And each knife was worth $300, so I still lost $120.
So you gain no profit from any of these. They're all just a bunch of scams. Same for Drake Moon. Drake Moon is a little bit different, but it still goes for the same like scam. So basically, you have to spin your case, of course. In order to get the weapon or the skin that you want, you have to make a deposit, a $1 deposit. And so you make the $1 deposit, and usually it comes up with your item is out of stock. So you're stuck. So you're buying money, or you're not buying money. You're buying skin cases, and you're getting absolutely nothing for it. You could literally be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a skin, and it would say it would be out of stock.
Yeah, so just don't use those websites. They're all out to the house always wins. That's the whole thing with gambling. Like,
just don't gamble in general,
just
to
don't
be honest.
gamble. It's not smart. I don't understand why people do it. You know, because everyone's thinking, oh, I'm gonna get 777s one day. No, you're not gonna get it. The chances of it happening are so small.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people understand how impossible. Just like winning the lottery, you have a 1 in like 7 million chance, and it's like 1 in something. It was a crazy amount, and I saw a video on this, and it was like just showing you like a wheel of like how lucky you have to be to win the lottery, and just don't buy into it.
Yeah, it's a scam.
They're all scams. Like they're not visceral scams, but like, I don't know if visceral's a good word for it.
Yeah, kids, if you're watching this, don't gamble.
Just don't gamble. It's a bet. You're not gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, if you do win, congrats, but no.
But if you just don't keep trying.
You have wasted your money.
Yes.
It's like one of those like claw machine games. You know?
Yeah. Actually, no. There's this one at the bowling alley that if you were good at it, you couldn't lose. So everything except that one bowling alley thing, you'll never win.
Well, I mean, there are possible, like the claw games and those key games where you have to try and fit it in the slot.
Oh, those are impossible. There's some that are the key literally cannot fit in.
Well, some of them are impossible, but I've seen people, get prizes out of it.
Yeah, some of them it's made so the key can't fit in. Like the
Yeah,
lower
but you-
ones it can, but they'll make it so it's like just the smallest amount.
You would have to spend like tons and tons of money to like win one prize.
So Caleb, you know that Christmas quiz that I gave you yesterday?
Yes.
It's coming back to haunt you.
No.
Yes. So I gave Caleb a Christmas quiz yesterday because we were bored, and we're gonna see if he remembers it.
All right.
Alright. So tell me 2 of the reindeer whose names start with C.
Cupid and Comet.
Yes. Tell where Elf from the movie Elf went to find his father.
New York City. New York
Yeah.
City.
What did my true love bring to me on the 5th day of Christmas?
Nothing.
No.
Or wait, no.
The song.
Oh. Your heart.
No. On the first day of Christmas.
Oh,
that
damn.
song.
5 golden rings.
Yeah. This is a more religious one, but what guided the shepherds and the wise men and the just the people to go to Jesus?
All right, you gave me this question yesterday, but I cannot remember. Yeah, you did. I just can't put my finger on it. You wanna tell him, Chris?
Oh, you don't know?
Nope.
The Star, the North Star. How many times is Jingle mentioned in the chorus of the song Jingle Bells?
3 times.
Let's see. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open. Oh, yeah, 3 times. In the Christmas classic, The Christmas Carol, what was the name of the boy who was sick and weak?
I believe his name is Tim, right?
What Tim?
Tiny Tim?
Yeah. What's another name for Santa Claus?
Saint Nick.
Correct. What brought Frosty the Snowman to life? Like what object?
A magic hat.
Correct. What should one do while standing under the mistletoe with a loved one, or like a sweetheart?
I love the one. You should kiss, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know the 10th one, so we're just not even gonna do it. But if any of you know at home, it's what state was first to recognize Christmas as a holiday?
Just let us know in the comments, because neither of us know.
Yeah, if any of you can find that out in the comments, because we don't know it. I don't have any more Christmas questions.
I don't have anything else either.
That's rough.
How far are we in the
do you have a
podcast?
tree? Did you decorate it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Alright.
Do you?
Yeah. How's yours, like, do you use, like, those, do you really, like, try to get a good thing, or do you just slap everything on?
Well, we try our hardest to make the tree look, decent. But I think this year we were a bit lazy, so we just slapped everything on.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We just wrapped the lights on, and then we just put on some ornaments, and then we were done.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. That's something I would do. That's what I get. We used to have these little trees that we put in our rooms, and usually when I was little, I would put all my little ornaments that I got on them, but I didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah, I have a little Christmas tree in my room too. It's just top is a little droopy and the lights are broken. So I'm like Charlie Brown.
Yeah. So
I hope you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the little sad Christmas tree Charlie Brown has. If you don't know that, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, it's a good movie, the Charlie Brown Christmas special.
If you've never seen a Charlie Brown Christmas, you're missing out. But yeah, so I had this in the past few years. I would just slap the lights on because I just liked it. I just liked the lights, and I didn't really care for the ornaments. And so now we don't even bring them down at all because I don't decorate them.
I couldn't hear you there. You kind of lagged out for a second.
I said that I only brought down the lights because I just like the lights, and now we don't even bring them down anymore because we just never do it.
I actually don't think my brother has my Christmas tree in his room. I never checked.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I just told you, Chris.
Oh, do you have one in your room?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, so you have
The
like
little
all
droopy one.
you have little separate ones?
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that. I like that.
Silly Chris.
Huh?
Silly Chris.
Silly Chris, tricks are for kids.
Well, how far are we into the podcast so far, Chris?
Let's see. We are 35 minutes in.
All right. I was hoping this video would go on for like another hour. I ran out of topics.
we can try to. We can think of stuff. How about? You know, what about what'd you do like? I mean, I don't want to like make this. This is gonna sound self-centered, but I have a ton of stories, but I don't want to, leave you out.
No, it's alright. I mean, anything to, keep this podcast going.
Alright, so I have a ton of stories from back when, back when we were doing the ones in, like, that college.
Uh-huh.
So, first of all, I remember the first time we did it, we only had one floor instead of the whole, or no, we didn't. Everyone was gone basically, so, but we only like went in 3 rooms. We met in the main room where the adults sat and there was food. There was like this big wide open room with like a bunch of chairs in it and stuff. And so that's where the kids hung out. Well, there's only 4 kids there, but that's where we hung out. And then there's this room way down the hallway. It was like a conference room, but we only went there a few times. That'll be important to the story later. So we went, up and down. We were just running up and down playing with the new stuff we got. And so one of us got actually a drone. And so we were playing with that, taking turns. And so we ran it, and so we were running it up and down the hallway. And so it goes into the conference room thing. And so one of us goes to get it. And in just like TV show fashion, the door closes behind them. And so they're locked in, and like they're freaking out in there. It was my little cousin. He's freaking out in there. And so we go in, and we go to the adults, and we were trying to get him out, and everyone's freaking out. So we eventually just I think we called like some maintenance guy, and they just unlocked it for us. But he was really scared, so it was a funny story. We look back on it. And also, I don't know when it was. I think it was the year we got our hoverboard. We also got a hoverboard a few years later. We were so happy. And so the first thing we tried to do, being the dumb kids that we were, is we tried to set the land speed record for one. And so we would go faster and faster, and we knew at one point one of us was just gonna fall, but actually we didn't. And we went so fast. We didn't fall. One of us went so fast that they hit the curb that was on the side of the road, and they went flying. That just brings me to a good idea. Do you have any like winter stories, like sledding incidents?
I have one.
Tell us.
So this was back when I was 7, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my brother, we had a sled, and it was a pretty decent sled. I would say it was like maybe like the size of like give me something small, like the size of like a board, of like a wooden board, like a good sized paddle board.
I get you.
So my brother had one too, and so we thought it would be a good idea to tie them together, make like a little sled train,
Mm-hmm.
as you'd call it. So we went on this big hill, and it was a very big hill, and it was extremely steep. So we went up there thinking it would be really fun, and we start going down, and I noticed that there was some really big rocks in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But being the dumb little 7-year-old we still did it. So we continued down, and I tripped off of my sled, and I hit my face on a rock, and I didn't lose any teeth or anything, but I was pretty bruised and had a couple scratches on my face. It was terrible. My brother, he was laughing the entire time. Like, he saw that I was in pain, and he just started laughing.
Well, that's a sibling for you.
Yes.
I have one. It was me and my little cousin, the one that got locked in the room. And, we're going sledding. And it was down our neighbor's hill. We asked, and they let us sled down it because our friend's grandparents lived down the street, and we usually sled down there because they had a nice hill. It was nice and straight, but they weren't home at the time, so we couldn't go sledding. Because we need someone to supervise us. We were like 10 at the time, and so we went to the other place, and so me and my cousin are just going sledding, having fun. And so the layout was kind of weird. So there was their house on our left, some woods on our right, and like this was a steep drop into the woods on our right. But we fortunately didn't go down there, but we still went to a little, I don't really know what it was. So there was the hill, there was their porch, and then the hill was like, so the porch would like stick out under, so the legs were really long for the porch, and so they'd stick out like far down under, because it was on the hill, because the hill was like started right behind the house. And so we're heading down it, and so it was basically like we have to run forward because there was a curve, because we were going at like an angle when we started, or else we couldn't stand in behind the house because there's no space, because they had a garden there too, and we didn't want to step on any of the plants. And so we just started running in at an angle, and if we had to stop ourselves because the snow was really icy, and we didn't want to go flying into like the pricker bushes and woods that were past the lawn. And so we slide down, or so we both go at the same time. And so he goes, and he can't stop. Neither can I. This was a really coincidental thing. We both couldn't stop. So I look at him, and as we're going down, he looks at me, and we both go flying into the air. He hits a tree. Like, we went up in the air because there was a little gorge that was beneath the thing. So it was like a little drop down about, like, it wasn't that tall. It was like 4 feet. But still, there was like a little ramp at the edge that was like, it was like snow made when they tried to like shovel the walkway that was on the side, so they just throw it there, and it just made a slope. So I went another 2 feet in the air, so we were 6 feet in the air, and everything seemed to go in like slow motion. It was crazy. And so I look at him, and he just goes flying into a tree head first, and then I look down, and there's a pricker bush, and so I go flying into the pricker bush, and so both of us get hurt. Like, it wasn't bad or anything, but both of us have to go.
So you two were okay. You were just.
We were fine, but we were like, it hurt so bad at the time, and so we're rushing inside because it hurt, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were in for the rest of the day. But he hit the tree so hard. I'm surprised nothing broke. Like, it looked painful.
Well, you were lucky.
Oh, I just hit the pricker bush, but I got cut up a lot, even through my, my snow stuff. Alright, well, those are some good stories.
I don't want to push this podcast, like, to the point where, like, we're just, like, sitting here.
Yeah, but I have another story. It's about this snowball war that we had. So we all, for like a couple kids, got snowball makers, and I had one too from like the year before. And so we were all just playing around with them. And so eventually we got like a bunch of sleds, and we started creating forts with them. We used to be good like fort makers, so we were stacking up these massive snow forts. And this brings up another story after this. So we were making up these big snow forts, and we were literally placing the sleds, and we had like a straight up war. Like, we had, those snowball launchers, the ones with the rubber bands. You need 3 guys to use them. Yeah, so we were using those. It was crazy, and then we started wrestling. It was really fun. And then this brings up another story. This is the time we built the igloo in the tunnel series. So this was a while ago. This was like 5 years ago maybe. And so we got like 3 feet of snow. Like it was tough. And we were all small then. So we decide, let's make some tunnels. Let's make a tunnel system. And so gladly nothing collapsed on anyone. It did collapse at one point, but we just rebuilt. But we got so much done. Like we went to our neighbors, and so we had an igloo that was like we could fit 2 people in there, sitting like crisscross. You could sit there, and you could just, you were fine. Yeah. And we had a tunnel system that you could go up and down the because we had 2 igloos actually, and then we had another, and there was 2 entrances, and they could also act as exits. We had just like little bunny holes too, where we were just you could just lay your body in, and so you would enter on the side of his driveway, and there was an igloo directly to your right once you got in, and then a bunny hole on your left a few feet in. And then if you climbed, like, these were long tunnels, like the whole thing was like 20-30 feet long. Not 30, but 20 feet long. And so if you climbed down like 5 more feet, you'd find another bunny hole on the right and then igloo on the left. And so then if you climbed even further, there was like a double bunny hole that like split off. It was a bit weird. And so then there was the exit on the other side, but we were so proud of it. We were climbing through it and stuff. And like surprisingly, it didn't collapse after like the 3 days that we had it up, and then eventually, it just collapsed overnight.
Well, I mean, was it warmer at the time? Like, did it start getting a little warm?
No, it was still cold. It was the same temperature the few days. I just collapsed.
Huh. Well, unlike you, I've never really had a fort or made a fort out of snow. I mean, I've had snowball fights, but I never really took the time to like build something.
Well, our forts weren't really like, they weren't forts. We just basically piled up snow about a foot and then just stuck our sleds in there. So like they'd add another 2 feet to it. So they're like little 3-foot things, and we'd peek out and we'd launch the snowballs. And we'd have certain jobs because there was like 9 of us. And so we'd have like we had like 3 forts going on, and then there was like each person had a job. There was like one, it was like the launcher. One was the snowball maker. I was in my fort. I was the snowball maker, because I was able to like crank them out. I just put one in, and I just keep making them really fast. And so eventually we had this stack of like 200 snowballs, and we just eventually started to crusade with them, and we were just launching them as hard as we could at the snowboards. And then we didn't win the war, but we came in a close second.
Well, how many teams did you say there were?
There was like 3 or 4. I don't remember.
That's not bad.
I want one more story from you, and then we'll wrap up, because we've been here about 52 minutes.
Alright, well, I can try and think of one. Or think of a story that happened. I can talk about the story that I got lost in a store on, it was pretty close to Christmas, but it wasn't like really close to Christmas. So I was a little younger at the time. I believe I was like 5, maybe 6. So anyway, we're in the store, and I just went with my mom because my brothers were tired and they slept at home with my dad. So basically, we're in the store, and my mom leaves for just a second, just so she can go to the bathroom. And so, curious 5-year-old little me wanted to go over to the toy section. So I went over to the toy section for like 5 to maybe 10 minutes, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried about my mom. So I go out and start searching, and I can't find her like at all throughout the store. So I sat down on like a bench outside of the store, and I just like sat and waited like for my mom because I could not find her at all. And this is at the time where I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't call her. So I was really worried. And eventually, I saw my mom's car. So I went over and I asked her where she was, and she said she was just looking for me. And I told her that I was at the toy section, and I may have gotten in trouble. So
Got beat.
no, I didn't get beat. I didn't get. My mom is not a child abuser. But I did get in a little bit of trouble. I didn't get like stuff taken away or anything like that. I just got in a little bit of trouble. But hey, I mean, I was pretty curious, so can't blame me. Well, I mean, you can, but toys.
Alright then. Well, I think that concludes the Christmas special of the podcast.
Hope you guys have a good Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to all of you, and yeah, I hope you guys just have a good Christmas. Goodbye.
Yeah.